when needed. Otherwise, switch off. Okay. Warm greetings to all. Today we all have gathered here for a power-packed show, Winners Think Differently. And especially for all those children who are interested to explore their true potential and dream big. As said in due diligence, the key is not just the will to win, but also the will to prepare to win, which sets you apart as a pioneer. Give yourself permission to try everything which you dream up. Children, your mindset is everything. Whether you believe you can or you think you can't. And now the question for today is, what do you choose? Well, taking this journey ahead, I would like to introduce our guest for the day, Mr. P. A. Anand. He is an alumnus of IIT Roorkee, MBA from NDI Gurgaon. He is a successful entrepreneur, author of 5 entrance books for MBA in association with Wiley Publication. He is consultant and watch not, motivational speaker who has mentored 25,000 plus people and has a rich experience of over 23 years in training and education sector. With this, I would like to introduce my students panelists for the day.
Mindset is what separates the rest from the best. Good evening, everyone. I'm Pallavi Singh, pursuing 12th standard from Brightland School, and today we all are so grateful to be here and guided on the importance of mindset in achieving our dreams.
Greetings to all. I am Tanisha Bhardwaj of class 12, studying in Brightland School, and I am looking forward to an enlightening session with a great gusto in your presence, sir.
Very warm greetings to all. I am Anushka Dhiran, student of class 12 of Brightland School, and today I am highly delightful to attend this great session.
Well, before we proceed further, I would like to ask you all, do you have a winner's mindset? Do you? How to get that right mindset to believe that you can do anything that you wish to do in your life? So let's embark this journey ahead. Without wasting the time, I would like to invite Mr. P. A. Anand to unfold the secret of all these queries. Anand, sir.
Thank you so much, Ruchi, for the wonderful introduction. Good evening, everyone. I hope I am audible, loud and clear.
Absolutely, you are.
All right. Thank you so much. You know, it was so nice listening to all of you. It was wonderful. Let me begin by thanking some people who have been responsible for this opportunity. Director ma'am, Mrs. Balwin Khandelwal, Principal ma'am, Miss Vinita Pathania, Shruti ma'am, Shubhra ma'am, my friend and classmate, Miss Ruchi Khare, who is the middle wing coordinator, and the entire team, including teachers, staff, and students of Brightland School. It is indeed a privilege for me to actually get an opportunity to interact and share my thoughts with all of you. I have been training students for various competitive exams now for the last close to 18 years. The common admission test of the IIMs, various other MBA exams, GRE, GMAT, GATE, the engineering services, civil services. So my area of interest happens to be aptitude training, specifically quantitative aptitude and reasoning. This happens to be my passion, and I love, in fact, to interact with students. So I'm going to enjoy this session, and I hope all of you feel that you got something by being a part of this session. So allow me to share my screen. I have a presentation, and then we can get started. I think the screen sharing option is not enabled. Can you please? Yes. Is the PPT visible?
Yes, yes,
Right.
sir, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are going to talk about the winner's mindset today. And do winners actually think differently? So that is what we'll be spending time on. I have got around 30 minutes time for myself, and then we can take up the questions. So let's get started. You know, children, successful and unsuccessful people do not vary greatly in their abilities. In most cases, they do not. But what they vary in is the desire to reach their potential. A very apt saying by the legendary John Maxwell. Okay, I would want you to ask yourself some important questions. What are your chances of living the life you want? Do you aspire for a balance in life? Do you wish to own your own dream? Or do you want to become a part of someone else's dream? What is your thought process? A very important question. Do you wish to add value to your life and to others as well? Do you wish to inspire others in life? Do you aspire for recognition and rewards? My dear children, if the answers to most of these questions is yes, then I think today we are on the right path. Okay, let us begin by asking this very important question. What is success? When we talk about the success mindset, before that, let's first talk about what exactly is success. The first picture, the legendary Usain Bolt. You can see his trademark celebration as he celebrates yet another win. You know, Usain Bolt went on to win 8 Olympic gold medals across 3 different Olympic games. There are people who dream of winning that one single Olympic gold, and here we are talking about a man who won not 1 but 8 different gold medals. It is said that he was poised to win the triple treble, you know, the 100 meters, the 200 meters, and the 4 into 100 meters relay in 3 Olympics, but for a disqualification that happened because of a teammate of his, Usain Bolt. I don't know how many of you would recognize yet another great sportsman, you know, Michael Phelps. See the pride on his face as he displays. Let me share this with you. 28 Olympic medals, including 23 golds. Yes, you heard it right, my dear children, including 23 golds across 5 different Olympic games. They used to call him the Baltimore Bullet because that was the speed at which he used to swim. All right, Usain Bolt and Michael Phelps. Why are we talking about these 2 people here today? They are legendary sportsmen, no doubt. But what is interesting to know is what happened to these 2 people once they achieved success at the highest level. You know, Usain Bolt said, once I became successful, I wanted to do everything on my bucket list. So he wanted to go around the world. He wanted to see places. He wanted to play football at a professional level. He wanted to play cricket at a good level. And he did all those things. On the other hand, Michael Phelps, my dear children, after all this success, went into depression. You know why? Because once people are successful, they do not know what to do. They are so passionate. They are so involved in their training, in whatever they decide to do, that they do not know what else to do. All right. So we go back to the question, what exactly is success? Is it the destination? I don't know. But let me share with all of you, like many of you present in this platform, I also used to think that success is in achieving what we set out to. My dear children, success in the true sense is not the destination. It is the change during the journey and what one becomes in the process. That is success. In true sense, this very aptly defines success. It is the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream or goal, a stepwise planned approach to a worthwhile dream or goal. And let me reiterate, it is what we become through the process that is called as success. Okay, now where does it begin? It all starts with a dream. Believe me, it all starts with a dream. So my first submission to all of you, my first sharing to all of you, have a dream. You know what is the first important point when we talk about having a dream? Is it your dream or theirs? I don't know how many of you know this story about Brian Acton and Jan Koum. Okay, two people who changed the way a lot of things happens on social media today. Let me tell you their story. Brian Acton and Jan Koum, the year was 2007. They were working for a company called Yahoo. But both had dreams. Both were passionate to do something of their own. And they decided that they would start something of their own. Okay, they also wanted to go around the world. So they both quit Yahoo. Yahoo was doing decently well at that time, but because their dreams were different, they quit the company. They roamed around the world, they traveled the world, and during this time they applied to and got rejected by a company which was coming up very fast. The company was called as Facebook. The story goes that in around 2008 end, Apple declared to the world that the future is going to be of apps. Apps are going to rule the world. And these two people, Brian Acton and Jan Koum, they put together and they developed an app. You know, the first launch, the app failed. They were very dejected. They did not know what to do. They were getting rejected because companies were not willing to take them back. You know, Jan Koum, who was the developer, had almost given up. He said, this is not for us. Let's go back. Let's get into the job. But Brian Acton said, let us give it one last try. Let us make the changes that we think is needed and let us relaunch it. So you know what they did? They made the changes. They put together the various components and they relaunched the app. And this app went on to change, as I said, the entire world of social media and everyone's world, popularly known as WhatsApp. You know, the story came full circle. The story came full circle, my dear children, when in the year 2014, the same Facebook which had rejected them for a job purchased WhatsApp at a whopping 19 billion US dollars. So the question is, your dreams or theirs? You have to choose. Okay. There is this famous line of the legendary Steve Jobs. I don't know how many of you have listened to Steve Jobs, but there is this line of Steve Jobs. He says that if you were to do everything like it is the last day of your life, then you will put your heart and soul into doing whatever you set out to do. Okay, so can I have that thought process when I am doing, or when I am deciding, when I am starting to do anything? A very important question. Do we have the courage? You know, most of the people, they do not see dreams because they do not have the self-image. They don't have that courage. And the best example is the Indian cricket team, which went on to win the World Cup in 1983, something that changed the face of sports in India. I don't know how many of us know this, but on a public platform, the entire team members have said that there was only one person who had the belief that they could win the 1983 Prudential World Cup, and that one person was the Indian captain, Kapil Dev. Okay, but that belief of that one person carried the entire team throughout the tournament, and you know what happened. Okay, can you learn to anticipate the future? Okay, do you see the next 5 years? Today we talk about Tesla being a company which is ahead of its times. Why? Because they are able to anticipate what is going to happen in the future. The question is, as an individual, can all of us learn to anticipate the future? And you know, children, if you have a dream, it is very important to talk about that dream, to visualize that actually happening. To visualize that actually happening, to write it down, to put it in places where you know you will be able to see it. Let me tell you, if I give you my example, if you come to my home, you can see our dreams, you can see our immediate goals pasted all over our place, all over our home. It is very, very important to verbalize and visualize and write down what you wish to do. Now, when you talk about pursuing your dreams, in pursuit of your dreams, the very important thing is, can you identify your calling? When I say identify your calling, can you actually decide what is it that you are passionate about? You know, way back in 2003, when I was in the industry, I had this feeling that, you know, teaching is something that is my calling. And in spite of it being a risk, I'll talk about the risk factor also, but in spite of being a risk, we decided to, you know, shift and get back to a place called Aligarh, where we started training and teaching students. You have to believe in the dots getting connected. What is the concept of the dots getting connected? Children, whatever happens in our life, it happens for a purpose. It happens for a reason. I need to have that faith. I need to have that belief that the dots will get connected and it will lead me towards my goal. And as I said, you must be prepared to take risks. I'm sure by now all of us know about engineer Sridharan, who is popularly known as the Metro Man of the country. You know, the story goes that there were a number of railway ministers who wanted to set up the Konkan railway line, a railway line which will connect Maharashtra along the Konkan coast to the southern part of India. It says there was no engineer who was willing to take up that project because the project was very difficult. The terrain was absolutely difficult. The soil was a particular typical soil. Nobody wanted to do an engineering project in such an area. But Sridharan Saab said, I will do it. And then one after one, he has executed so many projects. Today, you hear about so many metro projects being executed in the country. But who is it who started everything? It was engineer Sridharan. The question is, am I ready to take some risks? Very important. If you have a dream, children, you need to develop the habit of setting goals. And when you set goals and when you set out to pursue that goals, you need to be not only passionate, but you need to be extremely patient. I would encourage you to go and read the story of Nawazuddin Siddiqui, a man whom you see on screen today, so successful. Please read the troubles that he has taken to reach this point. And you will understand what I mean when I say you have to be patient with your dreams. Okay. Now, what is the difference between a dream and a goal? When you put a date on a dream, it gets converted into a goal. Having a dream is not good enough, my dear students. It is not good enough until and unless you convert it into a goal. And a dream with a date is a goal. Okay, so for example, I know that there are students of 12th standard connected here. So can I have a goal that I want to get so much percentage in my 12th standard, right? And don't have that goal, but put it on a paper and stick it somewhere where you are able to see it, verbalize it, visualize it. That is what I was telling you. Even marks, can you put down, I thank you God, I see myself having got so many marks in this subject, right? And when we talk about goals, there is this beautiful book called Built to Last, the successful habits of visionary companies. What visionary companies do that others don't. And it says that your goal should be BHAG. Now, what is BHAG? BHAG stands for big. It should be hairy. It should be audacious goal. It should be big. It should be something that should challenge you. It should be hairy. When I talk about my goal, I should have a hair raising. I should get goosebumps. Okay. I don't know whether you observed or not, but when I was talking about some of these points, I had tears in my eyes, because that is how you pursue these things. So your goals, they have to be big. They have to be hairy. They have to be audacious. BHAG. Okay, there is this famous Harvard business study that happened in 1979. Some people say that they are not very sure whether this happened or not, but let's not talk about that. Let's focus on what came out of the study. What came out of the study, my dear children, was, don't be surprised, there are only 13 people in the world who have the habit of setting goals. And even out of those 13, 10% only have a goal in their mind. They don't write it down. There are only 3% people in the world, in the entire world, who write down their goals, because it does not happen easily. It does not come easy. You have to make some efforts. As I said, you need to have passion backed with massive action. We tell our students, when you are preparing for anything, when you are preparing for a competitive exam, when you are thinking of being an entrepreneur, you need to be in the champion zone. And when I talk about champion zone, I have already spoken about Konkan Railway. Go and read the story of Amul. Many of us, my dear children, please don't take it otherwise, but many of us do not know that Amul is actually an acronym which stands for Anand Milk Utpadak Limited. Okay, it's an acronym. But today it is such a popular brand, Amul, Lijjat Papad, something that all of us are proud of. Companies which were set up on the basis of strong fundamentals. People who led them were champions. Okay, so as individuals, can we get into those champion zone? When you talk about your goals, what do you need to do? You need to conceptualize it, right? Earlier, we used to talk about goals being SMART. You know what is SMART? SMART is, your goal has to be specific, it has to be measurable, it has to be achievable, it has to be realistic, and it needs to be time bound. So that was SMART. But today we have moved on. Today we are talking about goals being smarter and smartest. So what do the E and the R towards the end, what are they? I mean, there are different perceptions. One version says the E stands for evaluate and the R stands for readjust. And the second one, which is more, I would say, based on people skills, it says individual's ability. It says the E is energized and the R is rewarding. Okay, so today we are talking about goals moving from smart to smarter. So if you set a goal, you need to measure it, my dear students. It has to be action oriented. If I do everything, okay, so maybe some of you might be thinking that sir is saying that have a dream, convert it into a goal, and that's it. Put pictures, that's it. No, it has to be backed with massive action. You need to be action oriented. All right. And your goals you should be committed to your goals. It should be compelling and exciting. When you talk about having a goal, it should compel you, it should excite you enough. We have already spoken about these things earlier. All right. Your goal should be out of reach, but never out of sight. Out of reach, but never out of sight. Why I said out of reach? Because it should push you. If the goal is a very easy one, believe me, there is no point in having that goal. It should push you to do better. And if you think you can, you will. All right. One very important point. You need to have performance goals versus result goals. Let me explain that. Let me explain what it means. So a 12th standard student sets a goal saying that, suppose for example, I have to get 95% and above in 12th standard. Okay, good enough. But I'm saying convert that also into performance goals. So what is performance goals? Performance goals means I will score this much in this particular subject. If you think you are not doing well in a subject, challenge yourself, set a goal there. So if in the pre-board examination you have got 75% say in physics for that matter, right? Then say that, okay, in the board examination, I will get at least 90% in physics. So along with the result goal, also have various performance goals. A student who is not very comfortable in talking to an audience, can I have a performance goal that yes, in this particular year, I will take part in at least 3 events that is organized by the school. Make use of the platform to share my thoughts, to interact, to push my self-image. All right. So performance goals versus result goals. What are the attributes of BHAG? As players become bigger, their goals become more precise. Okay. Please listen to this. Read this very carefully. The bigger the person, the precision, the more the precision in the goal. All right. So your goal should not be a very vague goal. I am sure my thoughts are reaching you. And if you are part of a team, my dear students, then your goal should not only be individual, it should be aligned to the team goal. All right. The last point is very interesting. As a part of a team, I sometimes need to set up a goal and I sometimes need to score a goal. You know what is setting up a goal? Setting up a goal is, that means facilitating the process so that somebody else achieves it in your team. So the team does achieve, but somebody else scores the goal. So setting up is an important part. It is very important, but along with setting up a goal, scoring a goal is equally important. So where does it all start? What should I do? Now, this concept I have taken by a book called as The Winning Triangle, written by Harsha Bhogle. So it is a book that combines sports and the winner's mindset. Sports is something, again, that I'm very passionate about. So the winning triangle says there are 3 things that we need to focus on. What do we need? We need to have the knowledge and ability. All right. Without the knowledge and ability, you cannot reach where you want to. I'm sure we all agree on this. Look at the third point. We need to have the work ethics and passion. I have already told you, without the work ethics, you are not going to be successful. But the most important is the attribute in the middle, that is the attitude, because that is something which we all have to continuously and committedly we need to strive for this aspect, which is our attitude. Okay. Now, when we talk about the attitude, so I am not talking about the work ethics part. I am not talking about the passion, because we do not have, we have to finish it in a particular time. But I am definitely going to talk about attitude. And when I talk about attitude, we'll talk about 2 things. We'll talk about attitude for your self-image, and we will talk about attitude for your relationship with others. What you need to do. Okay. Focus on the positives. Develop new and good habits every year. And do not be shy to learn from others. And I did not share the first one on the top, which is a very popular one: reject rejections. Marwan Attapattu, Sri Lankan cricket captain, played for Sri Lanka for 15, played for Sri Lanka and scored more than 1500s, went on to captain the Sri Lankan cricket team and later on became the coach. But let me tell you, my dear children, the first 6 test matches that Marwan Attapattu played, his scores were 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. Across how many years, sir? You would like to know. Across around 4 years, Marwan Attapattu repeatedly picked up for the Sri Lankan cricket team, repeatedly failed. I will repeat the score: 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 5 zeros and 1, 1. It is said that the first 6 innings that he played in international cricket, Attapattu actually scored 1 single run. Can you think about the mindset that this man would have had? Can you think about his passion for playing the game? Then went on to score 15 international hundreds. And what you should do for your relationship with others: surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with the right people. You know, when I talk to students, I always tell them that if I think I am on the right path, then I should always try and take few friends of mine along with me. So help people, a very, very important aspect as per me. So surround yourself with the right people. Practice appreciation. Appreciate others. Learn to appreciate others. We don't do it very easily because as human beings, it does not come naturally to us. So you need to strive. You need to practice. Solicit and respect feedback. Okay, a very important part of your personality is your openness to feedback. You know, someday if we get a chance, we'll talk about that in a different session. But as an individual, are you ready to solicit and respect the feedback that people are giving to you? And always go on and exceed expectations. Okay, so, you know, promise, deliver more than what you promise, exceed expectations. Okay, you would have heard about emotional quotient. I'm not going to get into this. Emotional quotient is the in thing. I know that there are students of 6th standard, 7th standard also connected here. Beta, I would request you to maybe sit with your teachers, sit with your parents, and try and understand what exactly emotional quotient is. And along with this big E, there are 2 things that popularly people are talking about. The first one is edification. And the second one, a very important attribute of EQ, that is empathy. All right. Okay. So what is the way ahead? You need to have an attitude of gratitude. You need to be thankful for what you have. My dear students, my dear children, you need to be thankful. You need to have an attitude of gratitude. Hold the hand of a mentor and walk along. I don't know how many of us have access to a mentor, but I am very fortunate that we have had the chance of getting mentored, a life coach, somebody who is going to guide you through all aspects of life. So if you at any point in time get a chance to have a mentor, hold their hand very tight and walk along with them. Bring a change and do it for your own good. You know, sometimes what happens, people around me tell me that what is the need to get, you know, what is the need to change? These sessions will keep on happening. So your friend will come to you and say, such sessions will keep on happening. Come on, let's forget it. Let's go and have fun. But it is up to you to decide. Do you want to make a change? And again, as I said, if I am changing for the better, can I take some people along with me and change them also and help them change? Do it for your own good. Okay, very important. Do not wait for others to take the lead, because once you miss the opportunity, you actually miss boarding the bus. The second point is very core to what I believe in: help others as much as possible. Whatever help you can extend to people, your friends, your family, whatever you can do, go out and do that and learn to be humble. And, this famous saying of Zig Ziglar, which says, if it is to be, it is up to me. People say they are the most important 9 words that somebody can come across. If it is to be, it is up to me. All right. There is a winner in each one of us. Yes, you just have to actually find that person. There is a winner in each one of us. You just have to find the winning way. So, children, I was, because of the time constraint, we did want to finish it on time. So thank you so much for the opportunity. If there are any questions, I would now stop my screen share and will be happy to look at any questions that I have got.
Yes, definitely. First of all, I would like to thank you, Mr. Anand. It was really an encouraging and insightful session for the children. I'm also opening the chat box. All those students who are present there and they have a query, you can always write it in the chat box. We will entertain that also. Now, my students, panelists, first of all, they are ready with their queries. So the first one.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. Your words were really, really helpful for us, and they provided us so many dimensions to lead our thoughts and dreams into. And sir, I'm really eager to get your advice on one thing. Whether it is edification from someone else, or is it our self-pride and self-appraisal which helps us in becoming a better person? What is more effective?
Okay, thanks for the question, Pallavi. But when we talk about edification, edification is not about me. Edification is the good that I can find in others. Edification is the good that I can find in others. How often? Now, I ask this question to my students very frequently. How often have you walked up to your mother and told her, Mom, I am so thankful to you. Today, the lunch or the dinner was absolutely delicious. How often do we do that? Right? We do it very rarely. You know why? Because it is taken for granted that she is my mother. She is supposed to do this. Or for that matter, I don't know about girls, but I definitely ask boys, how often have you held your father's hand and told him that, Dad, don't worry. If there is a problem, don't worry. I am there with you. I'll be there with you throughout your difficult times. You know, do we do that? No. Because it does not come naturally to us. On the other hand, what am I expecting? I am always looking forward to people talking good about me, right? But in return, am I ready to look at the good part in others? No. So edification is looking at the goodness in the other person and talking about it. That is edification.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pallavi.
Sir, earlier today, as you have emphasized on the need to verbalize and to visualize, I have a zestful interest in knowing what is the role of verbalization and visualization in success?
Okay, Tanisha, that's a very good question. You know, what is the role of verbalization and visualization? People ask, why should I do it? You know, and that is an often said statement, that how is it that verbalization is going to help? But believe me, there is a lot of power. There is a lot of power in the subconscious mind. You know, many of us on this platform are very young right now, but whenever you get the chance, you should always read about what is the power of the subconscious mind. Please believe me when I tell you that our subconscious mind is so powerful that if it is fed with the right thoughts, there is nobody who can stop you from being successful, right? So you have the power of the spoken word. Whatever you want, you should talk about it. But Tanisha, usually what are we commonly doing? We are commonly saying things that we do not want to happen in life. Am I right? We are not saying what we want. We are saying things that we don't want to happen. And then we say, why is this happening in my life? Because you are yourself verbalizing. You are yourself saying. Okay, so verbalization is very powerful, my dear children. And whenever you talk about verbalization, you must talk in the present tense. You must talk as if it has already happened. So if I were in Tanisha's place, I would verbalize like this: thank you, God, for my wonderful performance in 12th board. Thank you, God, for helping me score over 95% in science. Obviously, you are in 12th, so physics, chemistry, maths, whatever. It has to be in the present tense. It should not be thank you, God, for that I would score. No, thank you, God, for helping me score. It has to be in the present tense. Don't do anything, plus don't take away anything from this session, but the 12th standard students, at least even others, please take this from this session today. Whatever you want, write it down, put it where you can see it, put some pictures if you can, verbalize it, visualize it, verbalize it, visualize it, see the change. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such mesmerizing words.
Thank you, Tanisha.
Sir, on hearing eminent speakers, we get so much high on our spirits. But as the time passes by, it gets faded away. So my question is, what should we do to sustain such motivation?
Okay. Good question, Anushka. Let me ask you a question in return. What are you passionate about?
I'm passionate.
Yes.
Sir, I want to see myself as a qualified doctor.
Okay, very good. Okay, let me ask you one more question. Why do you want to become a doctor?
So it's my dream.
Okay, reason.
So since childhood, I have seen I have seen myself being as a doctor.
All right, good, great. Now, let me add, being a doctor is something that indicates that you have been successful in life. Okay, but Anushka, being a doctor is beyond that. You know what a doctor needs to have. I don't know whether Anushka, the little girl who is in 12th standard, whether she understands this or not, but people say that one of the most one of the professions where you take care of others, where you put others before you, are doctors. All right. So I don't know whether you are thinking of becoming a doctor because you want to do something good for others. Now, if you know that this is the reason why you want to become a doctor, and that reason is always there as a part of your dream, I am saying, Anushka, nobody will be able to take that dream away from you. And do you think then Anushka actually needs an external motivator to tell her why she should become a doctor? No, because it is her passion. Okay, it is her passion. Teaching students is my passion. Helping people is my passion. You know, let me tell you this. When I used to introduce myself, I have not appeared for too many interviews because I got a job very soon during the placement drive. But whenever I used to introduce myself, you know what was my first line, opening line of introduction? My name is Anand, and true to the meaning of this name, I believe in spreading happiness amongst people. Because Anushka, I have realized that is what I am at the core of my heart. You ask me what gives you the maximum happiness. I'll tell you, when I am able to help the other person become happy, that gives me the maximum happiness. And for that, Anushka, I do not need any motivation. I hope my emotions are reaching all of you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Anushka.
Well, now I can see my middle wing students panelists are also curious to clarify their doubts.
Definitely.
So children.
Meher Kaur seems very curious, so let me follow upon for presenting your query.
Good evening, sir. My name is Devyang Rana from Class 6, Brightland School. Sir, why do we focus so much on dreams? I always feel that my dreams and perceptions, they keep on changing. It is so hard to maintain a single dream. So, I would like to ask that should we entertain multiple thoughts or focus on one dream?
Okay. Wonderful question, Meher Beta. It is so nice to see that in 6th standard you are thinking of so many things. You know, when I was in 6th, I used to think about completing my studies, my homework, and playing cricket. That's it. Okay, so Meher is so doing so nicely that you are thinking so much. Meher Beta, to answer your question, at this age, let multiple thoughts come to your mind, no problem. But when you get to the level of where Pallavi is today, so by the time you reach 10th standard, 11th standard, you need to narrow down on 2 or 3 things that you want to do. At this age, I can understand. Okay, we have multiple thoughts. Someday we think of becoming a doctor, then somebody tells me, oh, an astronaut is a wonderful profession, and then I think I'll become an astronaut. Then somebody comes and tells me a scientist does wonderful work, and then I think, okay, let me become a scientist. So as of now, Meher, it's absolutely fine, beta, but in the next 2 to 3 years time, take the help of your teachers, take the help of your parents, mentor, and maybe narrow down to 2 to 3 things that you wish to do in life.
Sir, thank you for showing me a way.
Thank you, beta. Thank you so much.
Now, I am delighted to call upon Abhikshita Kulshresht to clear her query.
Good evening, sir. I'm Abhishata Kulshrest from class 6 of Brightland School. Sir, I wanted to know that how does personality define success? How should we enhance and work to groom our personality?
Okay, that's a wonderful question, and at the same time, Abhikshita, it is a very difficult question to be answered in a short time. But let me tell you that there are certain tools available. You know, I don't know whether you are aware or not, beta, but there are various tools available, one of which we popularly use for our students also. And it says that people in the world can be actually divided into 8 different personality types. And all those personality types are defined by 3 characteristics, 3 traits, which can be measured, which can be evaluated, and which can be worked upon. So when we talk about, when somebody tells you, Abhikshita, that I am taking a personality development class, you know what is happening at the background, what is happening? Some mentor or teacher is working on these aspects of the child's personality. And yes, to answer your question, definitely personality plays a role in the success of an individual. But as I said, the details, maybe we'll have to take it up as a separate session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Abhikshita.
The young minds are popping up with many questions. So I would like to call one such young mind, Devyang Goyal, to put forward his query.
Good evening, sir. I am Devyang Goyal of class 7. And sir, as you have mentioned that people skills play an important role in achieving success. But I'm a bit confused here. If it's necessary to be perfect in every skill, should we follow our heart or sharpen our basic skills? So I wish to know the definition of perfection.
Okay, very good question, Devyang. I would not say that you need to be perfect in everything, but you need to have the requisite skills that are needed when you talk about being successful on the path of success. When you get to know your calling, when you identify your calling, you need to have those skills. You need to have those skills to be able to be successful. Let me give you a small example. uh, there is this beautiful lady that I have always followed and adored, Mother Teresa. Okay, Mother Teresa. I don't know whether you have read this story of Mother Teresa or not, Devyang. Very early in life, Mother Teresa decided that she would like to spend her life for the poor and the needy people. And for that, if you ask me, the most important skill that is needed is having a large heart and not thinking about yourself. All right, if you get the time, please read the stories about Mother Teresa and you will see how amazing a person she was. So I need not be perfect in everything, Devyang, but yes, I need to be good at the skills that are required for the area which I am passionate about. So identify that. So have a dream, identify your calling, have a dream, identify your calling, set goals, and develop skill sets or have skill sets that are required to be successful there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Divya.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anand. This last thing I wanted to ask you. You have been motivating so many people across the country, mentoring them. I just want to ask, is there any anecdote which you would like to share with our children and which will from where they can imbibe some lesson? Is there any anecdote which you wish to share?
Sure. I have lots of stories to share.
Maybe anyone, any
Can
short.
you tell me how much time do I have?
It's all up to you. You can
So,
go to
around
2 minutes. Yeah, sure.
Around 5
2
minutes.
to 3 minutes.
5 minutes.
Oh, yes, of course, yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is one of my favorite stories, and I don't know whether you noticed or not. There was a name of a person in that slide. The name of this person was Amit Agarwal. I had written story of Amit Agarwal. So I'm going to tell you the story of Amit Agarwal. Okay. Before that, let me tell you. Supposedly the most difficult exam in the world. I hope all of you are listening to me, right? Supposedly the most difficult exam in the world is the Common Admission Test conducted by the Indian Institute of Management, popularly known as CAT, and the Indian Institute of Management are popularly known as the IIMs. All right. So this story is about this boy called as Amit Agarwal. The story starts in 2004. Amit Agarwal was a student at NSIT Delhi, and he was pursuing his BTech in electronics and communication engineering. His seniors were going to appear for this examination called CAT, and they told him, Amit, why don't you also come along and take this test? Today, if you are not in the pre-final year, if you have not completed your graduation, you cannot appear for the CAT, but that time it used to be allowed. So Amit went and appeared for this exam called as CAT. He did not have any preparation. He appeared for that exam. He found that exam so fascinating. He decided that I want to get into one of the top 3 IIMs in the country. Right? Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and Calcutta are the top 3 IIMs in the country. You can read about them. So he had a dream. I want to get into the top 3 IIMs in the country. All right. He appeared for CAT 2005 for the first time. Now here the story starts. He appeared for CAT 2005 for the first time. The exam happened somewhere in November. He did well. He had calls from few institutes. He had a call from Indian Institute of Management at Lucknow. He had a call from NITI, National Institute of Technology and Industrial Engineering in Bombay. Now, the second part of the admission process is you need to appear for a GD and an interview. So NITI conducts its interviews only in Mumbai. So Amit Agarwal went to attend the interview of NITI at Mumbai. While returning from that interview, he met with an accident, got bedridden. Doctors met him and told him that you are advised bed rest, otherwise you are likely to damage your legs. Next 3 weeks, you cannot go anywhere. Immediately after 7 days, he had his IIM Lucknow interview. He said, I have to go. The doctor said, please don't. In spite of all the advices, Amit Agarwal went and appeared for the interview at IIM Lucknow. He did pretty well. When the results were declared, Amit's name was in the waiting list. No problem. Like the wait list, like we move up in the wait list in other institutes, the same way happens for the IIMs also. So Amit started waiting for the wait list to move, his number to actually move up. He started waiting. When Amit was at wait list 1 in the list, IIM Lucknow said all admissions closed for this year. Okay, I don't know whether you are feeling it or not, but I am already having the goosebumps. IIM Lucknow said all admissions closed for this year. Okay, CAT 2005 gone. Prepared for CAT 2006. It is not that he was not doing anything else. In the meantime, he finished his engineering, got a job, started working. CAT 2006, November 2006. Now listen to this. In CAT examination, you get percentile. 100 percentile need not be 100 percentage. 100 percentile need not be 100 percentage. It is given to the top scorer. Okay, so CAT 2006, in the history of the CAT, one of the very few exams where 100 percentile in quantitative aptitude was also 100 percentage. Full marks in quantitative aptitude. And who was it? It was our friend Amit Agarwal. The second section, called as data interpretation and LRDI, he got a very good score. The third section, basic English language, called as verbal ability, 80 percentile. Okay. How many IIM calls for interview? 0. How many IIM calls? 0. Okay. We are talking about a student who had the best score in quantitative aptitude all India, the best score in the second section, but just because he did not do well in the third section, he had 0 IIM calls. CAT 2006. Amit writes in his story that on that particular day, I sat at the bench where I used to prepare and I cried for 1 hour. He said, I literally cried for 1 hour because I was thinking why this is happening to me year after year. But you know the best part of the story. He says, 1 hour later, I wiped my tears, cleared my desk, and started my preparation for CAT 2007. I don't know whether you are able to understand the emotion, so much of passion, so much of blood and sweat that you put into what you want to do. They say that you cannot stop a person for a long time, from being successful. CAT 2007. Amit appeared for CAT 2007 again. And this time he literally cracked the exam. That time in India, we used to have 6 IIMs. And the person who would get all the 6 IIM calls would be known as Blackie. Bangalore, Lucknow, Ahmedabad, Calcutta. Kozhikode and Indore. Those people used to be popularly known as Blackie. And my dear children, of all the Blackies in India in 2007 through CAT, our friend Amit Agarwal was there right on top. He went on and did his postgraduate program in management from Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata. Okay, so what I want to end with is, this is what I was telling you when I said we need to identify what we want to do, and then we have to put our everything into getting it done. So if we know that, if we have identified that, if we are willing to put in the hard work, there is nothing, there is nobody that can stop you, who can stop you from being successful. I would like to close by thanking everybody once again for this session, and the children from my side. God bless all of you. My blessings to all of you, my sincere blessings that goes out to all of you. May you all succeed in whatever you wish to do in life. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. It was really heart-touching. I'm sure my children have a lot of takeaways to what you shared just now. My gratitude to Mr. P.A. Anand for this great, insightful session. I'm sure there are some of the vital elements for our students from this talk show today, which would help them to stay buoyant, energized, to get that winner's mindset, which I asked in the beginning. Thank you, wonderful audience, for you all stayed and connected with us. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.